It's hard to watch that sometimes. So, as we begin this speech, I'm going to talk to you. How many of you remember the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic? Raise your hand. Okay, well now I believe truly there's 4 R's. Reading, writing, arithmetic, and reality. That's reality. And although that academics will always be the main focus of what we do, these are the challenges that our kids deal with every single day in our school system. We have 25,316 kids. 87% of them qualify for free lunch. When I started as superintendent, our free lunch rate was 37%. 37%, and that's where we've come. We have 500 homeless students. We have over 60 unattended kids who have no adult in their life. We have a third being raised with their grandparents or some other person that because their parents didn't want them. Or if you saw the article in the paper I mentioned early, for every 50 kids out of 1,000, they've been affected by the opioid crisis. This is our reality, and this is what we have to deal with. And so we have to balance the academics along with all the other needs that our students have in the school system. This is not an easy task. I want our teachers and everybody in their hand and raise their principal, raise your hands. These people deal with this every day in their classrooms, and they are phenomenal. I can't say enough about how much we love them for the work they do trying to move these students forward. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the achievements and what we're doing in the Kanawha County school system to kind of meet those needs and to meet this reality. In West Virginia State University, we have a collaborative school, a high school campus on West Virginia State University, and we tell them, you're not doing well in school, so we're putting you in college. And off we go. We have a very high success rate for those students attending. I'm going to talk fast because we're on a limited time. College scholarships. West Virginia State University has guaranteed that under the McKinney-Vento Act, 25 of our students who qualify under that act will get a full 4-year ride to West Virginia State University. We are so happy about that. Our Bridge Valley Partnership. Capitol High School started last year in the health field. We are transporting the kids there, and you will talk about our intern partnerships. We'll come out with a high school diploma and a 2-year diploma, an associate's degree at the same time. Our internship and partnerships in our school district, what we've done is we have realigned our budget, looked at our dollars. We've placed a person in every high school that coordinates with local businesses and communities to keep kids into internships and partnerships. You'll hear more about that. Our virtual online program, we're the legislators in the room. Raise your hand, please. I want to thank you for passing that bill. It was amazing. Last year we had 450 kids there. This year we're starting out with 375. Half of those are homeschooled kids, and this year we're piloting for the first time the elementary program, grades 3 through 5. So we now have virtual online for grades 3 through 5, middle school and high school. How many of you heard of Glenville State Homegrown Program? Anybody? Well, we're doing that with Glenville. What they're doing is we're taking students up there to see the campus. If they agree to go into teaching, into math, science, or special ed, they're getting a 4-year ride in so many ways to Glenville State College, homegrown initiative. Did I miss one? No. Our KSC achievement, 14 schools received the girl-powered grants for robotics. Remember we talked about we not only have to look at our dollars, but what are the other ways that we can get things done in the school system from outside agencies and for grants. KCS was selected as a national Amazon Future Engineer District, bringing more computer sciences to our district. That was a grant we received through Amazon. We are so proud of that grant and what's happening in our schools and our high schools. This is the NASA grant. We received that. This past year was our last year, the 3rd year. Every school in our district has a full robotics program now. And we complement that with money out of the general budget to sustain and move it forward. One of my favorite stories are that Sharon Dawes, a high poverty area, they actually won the nationals, and the First Lady invited them to the governor's mansion, and she gave them a book and cookies and punch, and whatever their Sunday best was, they came in that, and they were so proud. It was just amazing to see. I want you to see this, and I'm not going through all of this. These are high school programs at South Charleston, Capitol High, South Charleston, and Sissonville High School. We have like one of our high schools, GW, is doing hydroponics. They're raising the herbs and selling them to local businesses. Most of our high schools are all running 1 or 2 or 3 businesses now. And we actually, in our school system, will not purchase anything outside we can get through our students, whether they're banners, trophies, T-shirts, whatever. And the nice thing about it is we bought right before the banner one got started, we bought a banner for $250, and they can produce it for $75. So, you know, we're getting it cheaper, which is a great thing. And so the reason why I show you this, Sissonville High School, they have Prince Charming, where they do a lot of printing. All these are programs. And the reason why I say this to you, I think it's very important that you understand that in the public school system, there are choices. That we're offering program and choices for kids to go different pathways, different ways of getting their high school diploma. I continually hear, well, there's not enough choice in public schools. There's plenty of choice in public schools, and we can meet the needs if we're given the freedom, just like we want to give to everybody else, if we give it to the public school system. Again, George Washington, Riverside High School, Herbert Hoover, Nitro, all these are programs where kids can sign up and take an alternative path within the school, another course of study. We have our JROTC, Riverside High School has Clean Energy Technology program. We have TV production at Riverside and at Capitol High School. We have kids going in all areas in order to be able to find their niche in order to be successful in school. This is the Capitol High Power Tour. Mr. Dorsey, where are you? Raise your hand. He's our Teacher of the Year at Kanawha County Schools. Yay, Mr. Dorsey. So he invited me up to see about how they do turbines. And I'm like, okay, so I'll go up. And I sit in there. And these kids designed their, well, why don't you just say it real quick, Mr. Dorsey, even though you took a bite of food. Just tell them real quick.
Well, they had a challenge to design a turbine that would produce electricity for a small farmer community, and they had it to be scalable. And so at the end of every project, we invite people in, and we have the fortune Dr. Green to join us. They work with AEP, and they have their specialists come in and give them real-world advice and real-world feedback.
And this was a tour you've taken. What's your next one you're doing up there?
The next one we'll be taking is a tour of the John Amos Power Plant. We'll be taking that in the spring. We're also going to be going into the materials division about manufacturing for these plants.
That's why he's Teacher of the Year. Our culinary carver was named one of the Elite 50 by Sullivan University for being one of the top hospitality programs. When we do anything in our district, if we're having like Christmas luncheons in our schools, we have to use our ProStar programs, our culinary programs, to order to produce, to have that luncheon. We don't go outside. KCS Achievement Programs, KCS Transportation Team awarded the best overall team of the 2019 West Virginia Department of Education School Bus Safety Rodeo. We were listed in Fleet Magazine, the top 100 safe transportation departments, Kanawha County Schools, and our child nutrition has the largest farm-to-table program in our district. So take a look at this. We're working, and I talked about that today, trauma-informed schools, social emotional learning, mindfulness, the drug program from University of Charleston, Generation X, Too Good for Drugs, K through 8 curriculum, Second Steps SEL 1 through 8, Project TND towards no drug abuse, Handle with Care pilot, and we took a bus, stripped it down, and it's a therapy bus. We have a full-time psychologist and a counselor, and they travel from school to school working with these students that are more severe cases. I want to tell you that Ball Toyota awarded each of our schools $2,000, and every principal in that room, every single principal said, we're going to use this money because every one of our high schools has a clothing and food pantry. Can you believe that? Clothing and food pantry so that our kids can have clothes and be fed. And let me tell you this, we do a student focus group with students, and we talk to them without any administrators in place how they feel about their school. Because if we don't connect with our students and find out what they need, then we have no reason to be where we are. One of the girls sat in there from Riverside said, I wouldn't be in school if it wasn't for the clothing pantry. I have nice clothes to wear to school, so I feel like I can come to school. If it wasn't for that, she wouldn't be in school. We are working with United Way, Margaret O'Neill, to do a food bus to deliver food to our kids over to summers and summer camps. We're working with Cliff Moore at the Y for after-school programs and summer camps. 2 new programs we have going. One is First Choice Adaptive Telehealth. What this is that we can't afford to put a therapist in every school, but every school can have a therapist. And so how many of you have done the telehealth doctors where you get online and you talk to them? PEIA does it, you can get help. Well, that's what this is going to be. So that when there's a kid at the more severe level, they can go with one of the professionals in the building, sit in a room, and have their own therapist right there take them through and help them through the problems. And they can have the same therapist every time, and it's no cost to the school system. They will bill Medicaid. Part of the pilot that we're working on right now and outlining the guidelines for it is this, that they will also take people that they can't bill for Medicaid. And so now we'll be getting therapy hopefully in every school. The other thing is the South Charleston program. The national trend now is not to kick kids out of school. First of all, they've been rejected at home. They come to school and they're kicked out. We send them to alternative school, and then they're kicked out again. So if somebody told you 3 times they didn't like you or they didn't care for you, what would you do? And so now we have a program in our high school, which is the Swivel, and teachers are actually teaching, and kids are in another room when we have to remove them from the classroom, and they're actually watching their teachers teach, or they're putting their lessons on our learning management system, Schoology. The nice thing about that is, guess what happened? All the students said to all the teachers, can't you put your lessons on there? So that if I didn't understand what's happening in math class, I can go back and look at the lesson again. And that's what they're doing. And so that's another program that we have going. I want to show you this. We're not perfect. We have room to grow. But in the new program, SAT School Day, in reading and writing, we scored. Now remember, all students in 11th grade take it. Wide range of achievement levels in our schools. If you take a look at the reading and writing, we were above the national. And overall, we narrowed the gap from the first year to this year by 6 points. We're 12 points below the national in the overall, and we're 14 points or 15 points below in the math. I want to say this to the people of the State Department. Thank you for the Math for Life campaign. We are working diligently to improve math skills throughout our district. I want you to take a look at this. In 2007, we were 4.7 dropout rate. We're now down to 1.94. Prior to that, we were at 6.9. So we're working hard to keep kids in school. Do we have workforce? Yeah, because if you have 1 dropout, you shouldn't have 1. And so we're going to work on that. Here's the other thing, our graduation rate in 2011, we were at 70.8. 2019, the unofficial was 86.09. Our goal is to get to 90% to the state level. So I want you to understand that this is a system where all students do come first. We're doing everything to help our students with the trauma that it has in their lives, but that's the reality. And when I hear people say, well, you know, we got to get that test score up. Yeah, we do. But you don't know all the factors of what these kids go through to get there and how we keep them in school. If our teachers and principals working as hard as they do to get them there, it would be worse. And so I thank them for that every single day, the hard work that they do and moving our students forward. And again, I want to emphasize that this is going on in every school district in West Virginia. Our public schools can do the job, given the freedom, given the flexibility.
Hi, thank you, Dr. During. That was great. My name is, yeah, good, let's clap. You know, we have so many challenges that we face, as Dr. During said. And one thing that I'm tasked with, my name's Leah Sparks, I'm the Executive Director of Technology for Kanawha County Schools, is making sure that our students are prepared for the real world. And the real world is full of technology, right? We've got to make sure that our students are ready for that. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we have at Kanawha County Schools. Again, the students from pre-K to 12. We have approximately 1,800 teachers. We are one-to-one with iPads in grades 4 through 12, which means every student has their own device to use. At least 1 to 4 in grades pre-K through 3, but many of our elementary schools have purchased some extra in their own, and their ratios are even better than that. This is the 6th year of our one-to-one initiative. So it's become our new normal, I guess you could say. But I want to talk a little bit about how we got there and why we got there. So when we started talking about the why, we talked about what we wanted students to do? What do we want to see students doing? And our why really is to prepare them for college and career readiness, right? To be successful in the world, in the real world. And so we kind of came up with this little acrostic: keeping students and teachers connected to personalized learning, creating a learning environment that is aligned with real world expectations, and students who are prepared for ever-changing college, career, and global opportunities. Now, we put that word global in there for a reason. How many HGTV fans do I have in the room? Right? Like a little too much that you always have projects going on because you watch all these shows of Flip and Flop and all the shows we love to see. So one thing that I started noticing about these shows is how many people needed home offices. Have you ever thought about that? I mean, it's like all of them. And their budget is like $1.5 million, and I work from home. Okay, so guess what? All they need is a piece of technology and an internet connection. That's it, folks. And they can do their job from anywhere. They're in the Caribbean buying a $1.5 million home. The point is that our students are not competing against other students in the Charleston area. They're not competing against even the state or the nation. They are competing for jobs globally. And our students have to be able to have the skills to enter that competition and be successful. So I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about the goals and focus of the Learning 2020 initiative. That's what we named it. You won't see technology in it, even though it included putting iPads into the schools, because the focus really is learning. It's about student learning. We use the iPads as maybe a little bait to drive instructional change, but it's not about the technology. It's about learning, and it's about getting students involved. It's about standards-based instruction, making sure that we're teaching the standards that we are evaluated on, that we're evaluating them on. Problem solving, critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. How many people in the room are in a position of hiring people? You have people that work for you. Yeah, me too. Well, guess what? Do you want an employee that can regurgitate and memorize information, regurgitate it back to you? Or do you want people that can solve the problems you're facing every day, that can work with the staff and communicate and collaborate together to solve the problems we face every day? I do. I'm in technology. There are problems that I have to fix, right? And I need people who can work together to figure them out. And that's what we're working on. You saw a lot of that happening out here today with our students. They were looking at things and saying, oh, let's try this. Let's work together. I watched them the whole time getting ready and prepared for you guys. That's what they were doing. They're working together and they're being creative. Real world expectations. Real world. So when we first started this, I had somebody ask me, why do we need one-to-one? We have computer labs at the school. I said, okay, so if we're supposed to be preparing students for the real world, let's think about right now how often we use technology every day for business or personal or whatever it is. So what if every time we needed to send an email, book a flight, schedule a hotel, we had to call the library and during the times that they're open, schedule a time to go in when it was open and available and send an email? It's not real world, right? Technology isn't an event. It's a tool we use when appropriate, when we need it to do our jobs. And that's what we're providing to our students. Student engagement. We all know that engaging students gets them to school. It gets them learning. It gets them active. So we want to create things to get them engaged. You saw a lot of engaged students out here today. Technology is a tool. Talked about that. It's not about the tech. The tech is just the tool to get the job done. That's it. Learning 2020, or the Learning Parent Communication Learning Management System. We use Schoology, Dr. During mentioned. We're having a lot of people start using it. It's our third year with Schoology. This is giving every Kanawha County student the opportunity to thrive in an online learning environment that every single college requires of them, right? And even many jobs require you to collaborate online. So all of our students are getting that opportunity. differentiated instruction for students, meeting students where they are. They are all different, and they all need different things. We need to meet them where they are, and that's part of this, is saying, little Johnny needs X, Y, Z, so we can give that to him, and the technology helps us to do that. But this is a different approach we took, and that's differentiated support for teachers. I think everybody in this room learns a little differently, right? We all learn things differently. We all have different things that that drive us, right? And that get us excited about learning. Well, teachers are the same way. If differentiated instruction works for students, it also works for teachers. We stop pulling them out in big meetings with 50, 60, 70 teachers in a room and trying to show them technology. It doesn't work. So we started taking down the barriers, and we started sending people in. So the coaches that I had, they were working with the team out here. I have 4 for 68 schools. So if we're able to accomplish what we did with that out here today, what could we do if we had more? And we were able to really support our teachers. But I'm just going to tell you a quick story. When we first started this initiative, I got a few what I like to call nasty grams. You know, the emails in the all capital letters. You all, I'm sure you've never received those before, right? This teacher was just, it was scary, right? It's new, it's change, it's scary. And she was like, I just don't understand, I can't, do this. So I sent one of my team members in, and she didn't really necessarily want them there at the moment, but they went in and they helped. They were reviewing homework, and my team member said, here, let me take over. I'll just take care of this, just homework math review. And so they started using an app called Show Me and let the students show their homework, walk it through. It was displaying up on the screen, and the teachers watching. All of a sudden, the kids that were like half asleep reviewing homework were starting to get engaged, and they were talking, and they were sharing their learning. And she literally walked right up against the wall in her classroom and did this and said, I just need to give up control. Now, that would have never happened in a big pull-out meeting where you said, here's how you can review homework, right? She wouldn't have gone back, but we took away the barriers. We gave her what she needed with her students, with her tech, in her classroom to see what she needed to see to take that next step. Do you know she did that the whole rest of the day that day and went down to her principal and showed them, and now she's asking for new things and wanting to do new things. We changed, right? We gave an opportunity, and teachers need that opportunity to be supported, and that's what we're doing with the Learning 2020 coaches. Everything you saw out here today was co-planned, and these were lessons they had already done in their class. We just pulled them out here so you all could see them. They were co-planned with my Learning 2020 coaches. They went into the classroom, they worked with the teacher, they planned the lesson, and came back and co-taught it. So elementary, kindergarten, you saw some of this out here with learning letters, words, and numbers through coding with Ozobots. They were sounding them out, but they were doing the coding and putting them on the letters and talking about the letter sounds and the words they were building and the number of the week. Elementary, 5th grade, learning branches of government by creating an organizational chart. Little story about this kid, one of our lowest SES schools. This kid doesn't like to participate in a whole lot. But he was so proud. He came up to them and said, can you please take my picture? I want my picture of this. But he's showing us his learning in a little bit of a different way. And he's able to show us that hey, I paid attention. I learned the branches of government. Middle school mitosis. Let's take a trip back to middle school in your mind real quick, if you can think about it. How did you probably learn mitosis? Cell mitosis. Textbook, and then you took the test where you scribbled in the A, B, C, or D about which picture was right. This is how we're doing mitosis. A stopped animation video that the students created to display their learning. I'm going to show you one that was created. Let's see if we can. They're showing their learning. They're not just looking at a piece of paper and saying A to tell me that they learned. They're displaying it and showing me every single phase. Then that teacher took it a step forward The students printed out a picture, tagged their video to it. The other students in the class took their iPad and held it over. It played the other group's video, and then they had to analyze whether that video was correct, or if there were mistakes, they had to note those. This is what our students are doing, and this is how they're learning. They're engaging with it. High school, dividing polynomials using an app. So instead of just doing the paper homework, filling it out, turning it in, the teacher says, okay, well, it looks right. They're creating videos of the problems and explaining verbally, because it records as you're going through, their thinking process so that the teacher knows what they're thinking about as they're writing them down. And on this particular instance, they were actually creating them to teach others. If we can teach something, we know it, right? Showing their learning, being engaged. I was hoping I'd get the sound on that, but I didn't. What he said when he flipped that was, oh, I know what we need to do. Problem solving, thinking. That's why we're doing coding. It's not about just learning the tech. It's about creating minds that can think critically and problem solve and figure out problems. And that's what they do when they code. And do they have a blast while they're doing it? Absolutely. Coding and art, you saw this out there. This is what block code looks like up here, where it'll roll 0 degrees at 25 seconds speed for 1 second. They were creating code to do this art project. But this didn't happen just saying, oh, we're putting a bunch of stuff in, we'll let it go, and then we walk away. No, it was purposeful, it was planned with the teacher, with the Learning 2020 coaches to cover the standards. I'm going to show you real quick. These are all the art standards that they went in depth with after this project. All of these. These are all the technology standards that they used. These are the computer science standards that they used in one activity. That doesn't just happen. It's purposeful. And when our teachers feel supported to take risks and try new things, and they have people there holding their hand, they're going to take risks. This is the last slide. It's not about doing technology. It's about finding and using essential tools that support teaching and, most importantly, learning. We need support for our teachers to do this. It's working, but how much more could it be working if they had some help? Think about it this way. Say you're a doctor. You have 25 patients in a room with no support staff to help you. And they all have a different issue that needs resolved. You have no nurses, you have no medical assistants, you have nothing else. That's it. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to turn it over to Kim.
Okay. I'm going to speak from up here. I have a presentation. I'm going to move rather quickly through some of the slides and so forth. But I'm the Kanawha County Career and Work Skills Training Coordinator, and I have 8 teachers in each of the high schools underneath me. 3 years ago, we brought back this program, Career and Work Skills Program, CTE, and it's a blended learning experience. The students are in a classroom, but they also are having a work experience, and they get out of school a half a day to work a minimum of 15 hours a week. I can tell you right now, our students work more than 15 hours. It's a previous version of an old program, so it just has a polished new name because years ago it was called Marketing Co-op, better known, and for 15 years I was that teacher, and it was in almost every high school in the state, but slowly it began to disappear. I've talked with over 100 businesses, attended career fairs, and we're all going towards the same goal, to develop a skilled workforce in West Virginia. We're wanting to give our students internships, externships, and apprenticeship programs. This is the opportunity through this program, and they're getting elective credit. I've discovered in all of my talks that oftentimes we stand alone as a silo, and we have the same goal. We want to connect with industry, and industry wants to connect with us. We have Dow's apprenticeship program, AEP counts, and the specific business partners that are tied to our wonderful career and technical centers, Ben, Franklin, and Carver. But we're also taking the lead to move forward by placing those coordinators in each school. Our commitment, I'll go fast through this because Dr. Doreen already spoke about the diversity of our students, and they have to pay for basic living expenses and the poverty of the 80% that we have on free and reduced lunch. Our students need to work. I have kids each year. They are paying their living expenses. Over the last 3 years when we've done this program, we've had over 180 students in it, and they made over $700,000. This year we have 240 students in the high schools, and we have started in career in our technical centers, and we're even doing a pilot in our Chandler Academy to transition those students back into high school. I want to feature quickly, these are the students that we showcased. Ben is doing a Yeager Airport internship this past summer, and now he's moved into the administrative part, but he wants to be a commercial airline pilot, and he's going to enter Marshall's aviation program. Oops. Well, yeah. My connection was lost. Oh, okay. This is a Sissonville High School student. He and Ben Franklin, he was in the 10th and 11th grade. He was able to take machine tool technology. His instructor got him a position at HBS Hydraulic Hose in a pre-apprenticeship, and their 40-year veteran, which is in the picture with him, is getting ready to retire, and so they need skilled workers. And that can happen in the career and technical centers and also our community colleges. And so they're wanting to move him into a post-secondary apprenticeship. This young lady works at Chipotle, and she's able, because she can get out of school a half a day, work about 20 to 25 hours. She's purchased her own car, she pays her car insurance, and she's also moved up into a position as a shift leader. And last year, we also had 4 students that moved into shift leader positions in their positions. This is just Schaefer Equipment. I'm showcasing them. We have a student that works there. But I made a connection with them at the career fair, and it's very important that we're out talking to these industry partners, and that's through the flexible schedule that we've given our teachers in the 8 high schools. But they are also in need of a skilled workforce, and Zoe at that job is learning the administrative part to sales and marketing. I researched this off of the West Virginia Department of Ed approved curriculum list. Right now, the Career and Work Skills Training Program, we have a total of 111 schools. 13 have this program, 8 of them being our high schools and the career and technical centers in our county. So if you look at the career and technical centers, there's 27, but of those 7, 19, they serve 19 other counties, and for a total access of 39 with only 8 of these programs. So if we're wanting to provide our students with opportunities for internships and apprenticeships and getting them out of school, this is the way to open that door. The beginning link is to go down to the middle school, and you can go to the next. Right here is the shining highlights that we're already doing in Kanawha County in the middle schools. But we also need to increase the industry partnerships and do more project-based learning to help those students. You can go next. The connecting link is industry partners with the apprenticeships and externships. And that manual, I actually have it with me today, was from 2000, and it was put out by the West Virginia Department of Ed on apprenticeship. So this is nothing new. It's just gotten lost for about 19 years. And the programs are now coming back, and it seems to be the huge focus. Next. And I know we're on time, so he's going to be very quick. But I want to just say that I've seen the impact that CTE and this program can have on students, because Michael Farmer was that student into my class 15 years ago working at Foodland. He's now the step-by-step director for after-school programs, the pastor at Risen City Church, and was recently one of 6 individuals to receive the West Virginia Beacon Award for his revitalization efforts on the West Side.
I'm a pastor, but I'll try to be quick. As he had mentioned here, I'm a 2005 graduate from St. Albans High School. I'm 32 years old. Me and my wife direct after-school programs here in Charleston and Kanawha County. We're thankful for the collaboration we have with Kanawha County Schools to do so. Collectively, me and my wife have 10 after-school programs in Charleston. With Step by Step, I oversee 15 after-school programs in Lincoln, Logan, and Kanawha County. I have worked a full-time job since I was 16 years old. It wasn't out of just wanting to do it, but a lot of it was out of the necessity of growing up in poverty, growing up in trauma. When I was in high school, the co-op program gave me an opportunity I would not have been afforded to leave school and to be able to provide for my family. Mom was a single mother, 2 kids. My older sister went off to college. It was a necessity that I continued to work, but it gave me an opportunity for professional and career development. So when I graduated from school in 2005, I was actually given a job I think a week after I graduated at a bank because of the professional development I had. I spent 8 years in banking and finance, which it all started from a job that I received because of the time that was allotted to me to leave school and to work at the local food line as an assistant manager. Where we're actually working right now, and this was a motivator for a grant that we wrote here in Charleston for our own jobs program on the West Side, where we wrote a $46,000 grant where we are giving jobs to West Side youth to keep them connected. Because as hard as it is for us to know, if we don't give them jobs, we don't give them opportunities, they're going to find money in other ways and opportunities, and we don't want them to get involved in the negative ways. So it was really exciting for us. We have a Capitol High student who is actually a part of the co-op program who works within our after-school program, and he actually worked with the local West Side Soccer Association. So we're seeing these kids start to get civically engaged and civically involved in their communities because we're affording them opportunities that they otherwise wouldn't have been met through these programs. So, thank you.